All right. So I figured I would sort of play around with a little bit more intro videos just to catch your guys' attention a little bit more. My last intro video I thought was a little bit too robotic. And I'm also changing the title of my my YouTube channel here, which was TPC project, which is standard for the physics compilation project. And I'm changing it to knowing more. It sort of rings a little bit better with me, at least. And so what is this? What is this playlist, you might ask, or this YouTube channel? So for a long time, I've been sort of into the physics world and the chemistry and biology world, and I've studied really advanced topics like general relativity, quantum field theory, and I keep on learning more and more. But I figured it's about time for me to sort of impart this knowledge onto the world, because it's pretty much useless if I'm not teaching others these concepts. Aside from the fact that you can also do research in these areas, but I really like teaching, and so making this YouTube channel was a treat to me. And so I've started quite a few videos now. I have a growing playlist on quantum field theory and general relativity. I haven't really put much yet on the biophysics, because biophysics is one of those topics that you could really start anywhere with. You could start with the biology, you could start with physics, you could start with somewhere in between. And so I'm still sort of thinking about where to go with that playlist. But this is sort of this channel, or whatever you want to call it. This is a means by which you can come to YouTube and learn some more advanced stuff, right? There's not much out there that talks about the spin connection, for example, or really abstract hard topics in quantum field theory. I can't really name one off the top of my head, but you know what I mean. You want to learn this kind of stuff, you want to do it for free, and you are interested in knowing more than others, perhaps. You want to expand your knowledge, and you want to understand how the world works. And so I'm going to put a lot of my effort into, or a lot of effort at least, into helping you understand these topics a lot more. Okay. And that's what the gist of this podcast is. It's a means by which you can come and learn more advanced stuff, because great courses, Khan Academy, all these online platforms are great, but they don't go into really, really advanced stuff. You might go into educator.com, for example, and you might see that there is physical chemistry. Now, physical chemistry is an advanced topic, and I do have an interest in going into physical chemistry and making a physical chemistry playlist. But again, that's just like one online educational platform that teaches something somewhat advanced, right? If you want to learn something advanced, you have to go to YouTube and you have to find like some obscure lecture that was given by within some university, all formally taught, right? And oftentimes it's very hard for us to understand the formalisms behind the advanced theories, and so I want to break it all down. I want to not have it be robotic, like a class that you go into, or an arbitrary class that you find on YouTube. This is a place you can come to know more about advanced stuff, right? That's the point of this. Now, you're probably not going to be seeing this right here on many of the videos, because I want to maximize the amount of space I could put onto one screen so that you could sort of take it all in at once, right? And I want you to also be able to understand a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be teaching you with most everything on one screen. I want it to be somewhat self-contained to at least some degree. I'm going to be shifting my screen around a little bit, and hopefully very rarely I'll switch between new slides. I hope I don't end up doing that. However, and you might have seen this already, there are going to be some videos where I do end up transferring between screens. One of the other things that you might have seen already on my YouTube is another growing playlist. This is probably going to grow a little bit slower than the other ones on the humanities. Now, I've been into the humanities for a really long time. I have gone over history. I've gone deep into philosophy and theology as well. And this stuff is really, really interesting to me. And so my intent in that podcast-ish kind of thing is to teach you without you having to look down at the screen, right? So it's going to be a static screen with nothing moving on it. And I want to basically give you the opportunity to maybe perhaps as you're driving or perhaps as you're doing the dishes to just pick this up and listen, right? I'm going to be going over books, really interesting books that I come across and that I've read already. I'm going to be going over ideas and concepts within history and philosophy and theology as well, and other area and psychology and other areas that I've done a lot of research in. Actually, I lose sleep by researching a lot of this stuff, and so I want to teach it to you guys. A forewarning also, this isn't a place where you can come and see neat little animations, right? I want to give you the bare bones without scare. I hope I don't scare you off by doing this, but I want to give you the mathematical framework so that you can go perhaps to one of those other YouTube sites to then understand it a little bit better, right? This is a place where you're going to be able to see the real hard math in action, but hard math in a way that you can understand. Okay? So there's really nothing that's going to be too scary and daunting, hopefully. If you want to know a little bit about myself, I'm going to be doing I'm on my way to doing a PhD in biophysics. Right? So I've studied the physics, I've studied the statistical mechanics, I've studied quantum, I've studied general relativity, I've studied a lot of the stuff in depth already. And so I'm sort of on this mode of wanting to teach now. And just as a little bit of a tangent, because I'm passionate about this kind of stuff, this right here is something that you study in biophysics. This is RNA. This is a exoRNA in particular. I study cryo-electron microscopy. And this is an X-ray crystallography structure imposed on a cryo-EM map. This is I really like this image, right? It's just appealing to the eye, to me at least. And this is what I'm making my logo to be. And so I've been studying this kind of stuff for quite some time now. Perhaps not quite some time. I'm relatively new into this field. As you can see, I'm kind of young looking. This is an XRRNA, and I'm interested in being able and wanting to understand biology on the level of RNAs and proteins, and being able to do physics within this domain as well. And so, with all this being said, I don't want this video to go on for too long. I'm already pushing about 10 minutes here. But I want this channel to be something that you can go to for free so that you can understand these concepts a little bit better. Now, I do have a Patreon page, right? It's a growing Patreon page. You can visit it. I have links on this YouTube channel so that you can go visit it. And please, by all means, go to the Patreon page or be a subscriber to this YouTube channel, and I guarantee you're gonna not be disappointed. Right? One other thing that I want to stress when I'm going to be going through many of these topics, one of the ways I learn is through something that I call global knowledge. Right? So there's specific knowledge or localized knowledge and global knowledge. And then you also have knowledge, fluid knowledge and static knowledge. Right? So you might know from psychology, fluid and static knowledge is knowledge that you can, knowledge that doesn't change with time, and knowledge that does change with time. That's sort of what those two are, and those are sort of well established in psychological literature. But I've sort of come to this idea of being able to understand something using global knowledge instead of localized knowledge. And what I mean by that is, when you're watching these videos, and when you're watching any video for that matter, don't have your pen and paper ready. Just listen, right? You just listen to the topic, and what your brain is going to do is it's going to take out the gist of all the points that are being made and create a global picture, right? And then you come back to the lecture, and then you can start annotating on a piece of paper and taking notes and stuff like that. But global knowledge to me is really important. This is how I learned stuff in anatomy and physiology. This is how I learned stuff in theology and history and stuff like that as well. I'm doing the dishes, for example, or I'm doing whatever I'm doing, walking the dog or whatever, and I'm just listening to what I'm listening intently. You got to really pay attention to this kind of stuff. And what your brain is going to do is it's going to start consolidating that information to a point where you can actually store it in your long-term memory relatively easily. And that is what I hopefully want you guys to do with this, is that you watch it once without taking notes. Your brain is going to piece things together, and then watch it a second time and start taking notes. My dad always used to tell me that if you read the book 3 times, you'll get an A. Or something. If you read the textbook 3 times, you'll get an A. That's sort of the idea here, where establish the global knowledge first. Maybe watch 1 or 2, maybe even 3 videos within a playlist, and then go back and rewatch them. Don't be afraid about rewatching, right? A lot of people just want to blow through and move on. If you really, really want to know more, then you're going to take the time, and you are going to understand so much more a lot easier. And what that global knowledge is going to be able to what that global knowledge is going to help you to do is going to help you make connections between other topics, right? Because the global knowledge sort of encompasses all the topics. That's what makes it global. And so with all that being said, I don't want this to go on for too long. Looks like I'm pushing about 13 minutes now. Please subscribe to this channel if this is something you're interested in, and perhaps go onto my Patreon page as well. And I hope to see you in the coming videos. Thanks for watching.